And we're back with another hot and piping cooked episode of Slashily Ever After podcast featuring me, the king of horror ASIM, Runningman, and my beautiful fiance.
She's Brittany's. Hi.
Hey. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Good week?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here together the whole time. All right, anyways, so just a little bit to talk about. So first announcement, as you've probably already noticed, Slashily Ever After podcast will be launching on Sunday nights now. We started talking through some of the logistics of recording episodes, and a lot of movies come out on Fridays. And so we were like, well, if we release our episode on Friday, we're going to like release a week before the new movie comes out. That was basically the big one. So Sunday nights are going to be the launch date. Unless there's something special going on, kind of count on us being here on Sunday nights from now on, including tonight, this Sunday night. So, all right. Yeah, what did we do this week? We watched a lot of spooky movies. So not really going to discuss it at length, but we've been watching the Goosebumps series on Disney Plus.
We're like two-thirds of the way through the first season. Yeah.
And so far, having fun with it. So we'll probably do an episode about season 2 since it's more recent. So if you want some homework slashers, head out and watch the first season of Goosebumps, and then you can watch it with us when we watch season 2. We can all discuss it, maybe in the comments or perhaps in the Twitch chat, wherever you guys want to talk to us about stuff. But yeah, we watched that, and then we watched a bunch of movies that we're going to talk about here. So I think what we'll do to kick things off, though, there's actually like some big.
It just looks so messy right there.
Oh, it's my office. It's messy. I work in here. I'm slaving away in here making content. But yeah, no, go and tidy up. This is a great time to tidy up right now. Literally
right,
while we're recording. Yeah, all right, cool.
Little slow poke, but
I like it. Yeah, I added some Pokemon stuff. I mean, people are gonna start seeing. I'm gonna start sneaking more and more Pokemon stuff into the background.
Find the Pokemon.
Yeah. So this week, if you guys watch my Twitch streams, twitch.tv/Runningman, shameless plug. If you guys come by the streams, I have hidden my first Pokemon item in the background. So I love horror. I like Pokemon. Pokemon's fun. She loves Pokemon. So
yeah, it's the best, especially Slowpoke.
Slowpoke is good. He's a W. All right, so back on top. We watched some stuff this week. Yeah, so it's kind of nice that we're recording on a Sunday because we recorded last second, but because some news dropped today about something of note. So we're gonna pop right up with a new Alien Earth poster has been released and a new Alien Earth teaser trailer played during the NFL NFC Championship game today. So if you're a horror guy or gal or non-binary pal, or if you are not into sports, you may have missed it, but Alien Earth, we got a new poster, we got a new trailer. So yeah, summer.
So what is Alien Earth?
Alien Earth is, from what I understand, it's a prequel series. It takes place prior to the happenings in Romulus and the original Alien. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yell at me in the comments. We love engagement. But yeah, and it's that's really all I know about it. A lot of hype. Obviously, Alien really hasn't missed in a while. Like it seems like most of the Alien content that comes out is pretty solid. So I'm personally very excited to see this one.
So this is supposed to be before the original Alien series too?
I believe this is a prequel series to the first, or it might be between the OG. When is Alien set? 2020, 2120, well after Prometheus and just 2 years before Alien. Yeah, see?
Okay.
2 years prior to Alien. So W
cool.
Running Man, W doing my diligence and remembering things.
Very nice.
So cool. So we're very excited. The poster slaps.
It's really cool.
The trailer was good. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I'm sure you can find it online already. That's how the internet works these days. But yeah, we're a couple of big fans of Alien Earth. We saw Alien Romulus opening day on IMAX, like the big Dolby theater. Like, whoa, it was pretty good. Breakfast popcorn for this one. We loved it. Rain, the protagonist of Alien Romulus, was added to Dead by Daylight as a legendary cosmetic for Ripley, which I've got her up to prestige 28 now. I played
her a lot.
Yeah.
Nice.
I do dig Ripley a lot. So
it's cool.
Yeah, so if you guys are unfamiliar with Dead by Daylight, you prestige your characters. It basically just means you spent a lot of the in-game currency points on the character. The maximum you can do is P100, and with her, she's P28. So I'm like already a third of the way through, roughly.
Almost a third.
Streamer math. Roughly a third.
You're just over a quarter.
Just under a third, I would say. But yeah, yeah, we like Rain. We love Romulus. We're excited for Alien Earth. So next up on the news of the week, this one hit harder for me than it did for her, but we'll talk a little bit about it. The Toxic Avenger remake has been greenlit, picked up by Cineverse, the distributor of the Terrifier 3. The Terrifier. I am such a fake fan.
The Terrifier.
The Terrifier, right? So, side story: we were at a convention, and we ran into someone at the convention, and they were wearing a Terrifier shirt. I'm a huge Terrifier fan, for those of you who are unaware. And so right off the bat, it's like, ooh, a connection. So I was like talking to her about it, and she was like, "Yeah, my favorite part was when the Terrifier." And I was like, "Oh," and it's like pedantic. His name's Art the Clown, like the Terrifier.
The Terrifier is the ride.
Terrifier's the ride from the film. But anyways, picking nits, obviously, and she was very sweet. And so if you're listening now, I love you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make fun of you. I didn't use your name. But the Terrifier, I've heard the Terrifier more than once on social media and whatnot, and it's just, anyways, I feel like I'm coming off very petty. Am I coming off petty?
What's the Toxic Avenger about?
Oh, sorry. Are you trying to distract me? Okay. So anyways, Cineverse, the distributor of Terrifier 3, it picked up Toxic Avenger. So Toxic Avenger was in 1984. It's basically like a nerd to hero type story. I don't want to spoil the story for anybody that hasn't seen it, but to make a short story really long somehow, they made a remake in 2023 starring Kevin Bacon, Elijah Wood, Peter Dinklage. Got insane, like 92% on Rotten Tomatoes when it was screened. It was just like super popular. No distributor would pick it up. Said, no, there's no market for this. Too gory, too niche, too dark, yada yada. And then Terrifier 3 turned out to come out and be like one of the biggest movies in the world. It was like the #1 movie in America around the holidays. And then so all of a sudden now Toxic Avenger is going to get released here in 2025. They're releasing it in 2025 unrated.
So when was this? Do you remember? I don't know. When it was originally made?
The OG is 1984.
Oh.
This film, the remake, 2023.
Yeah. I don't know why. As soon as I saw the poster when you put it up here, it's like all I can think about now. Did you ever watch the movie Super? I think it's called Super.
Superbad?
No. I think it's just called Super with Rainn Wilson and Elliot Page.
Yes.
It was on like Netflix forever.
Are you sure it's called Super?
I thought it was.
Maybe.
It used to be on Netflix. Anyways, the whole time I'm looking at that, all I can think of is when Rainn Wilson's like, "Shut up, crime." Yeah, Super. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I have seen this
So
film.
it reminds me of that.
And Kevin Bacon's in this one too. Crazy.
Kevin Bacon's in everything.
Yeah, he's in everything, huh? So, you know what I was just thinking? I know I'm going off topic a little bit. I can't wait till we get famous and I can be like, "Hey, could you look that up for me?" And I'm doing my own I'm doing my own research here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress.
What is it on? Is that Peacock? I want to watch Super right here.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's not Peacock.
What is that?
Pandora or some Philo.
There
are too many. Okay, we're going to talk about this. There are too many
subscription services,
on-demand streaming subscription services. Like, bring back cable at this point, dude. It's like, fucking Tubi, Booby, Ruby, Flell. No, you gotta watch that. You gotta watch that on Flell. Do you guys have the Sklislim Plus? Oh, it's got 7 ads per minute, but you know it's only $9.99 a month. No, everything's expensive. Everything's split up. The days when you could just have cable. But yeah,
anyways, I'm super excited about this now.
Toxic Avenger is going to be sweet. It's unrated. It's going to be really dark, really messed up. If you look at some of the screen caps of like Elijah Wood's character, he's like hideous. I can't wait. And so I'm really stoked to watch it. But yeah,
I don't want to see it. I want to go in like as blind as possible. So I don't even want to look at him.
Yeah, that's absolutely recommended. So anyways, again, when it got screened prior to being purchased and now distributed and released, it was all bangers, all positive. So this is one that I'll be looking forward to. This one the way I looked forward to Terrifier 3. Like this is my, probably with this and the Pooniverse Assemble, those are like right there as like my most anticipated films of the year. So Toxic Avenger coming out 2025. All right. Last up, just on general news, something I wanted to discuss. The Substance was nominated for 5 Academy Awards. Huge for us in the horror.
Best makeup and
industry.
Styling. I can see that.
Yep. I agree.
Substance monster.
Yep. The makeup and styling.
I wonder who did it. I'm curious.
Yeah, check it out.
It's gonna take me a while. We don't have to talk about it later.
We don't have to talk about later.
We don't have to talk about it. We don't have to talk about it.
Then we should talk about it right now. So best picture, best director, best original screenplay, best actress, best makeup, and hairstyling, and also it's called The Substance. No, yeah, I don't know how well it'll do. I don't know if it'll win anything, but just the fact that we're in the conversation, horror movies. I mean, she won a Golden Globe.
Is it listed as like comedy under best picture?
I'm not positive. I would assume so, because again, 5 nominations for a horror flick, like, but all that to say, really, why this is so, to me, is so big is that we're starting to get some conversations. We're starting to get some award consideration. The genre is growing. These movies are making money. Like it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna have to stop ignoring us in like big entertainment, because like we're making too much money, making too much noise. So
I think like the last time horror anything was even talked about like as an art form, as a film, was probably like Get Out.
Get Out, yeah. Well, Get Out.
It's probably the last one.
Phenomenal.
The first and the last one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And then, you know what's crazy is that Nope was such a great follow-up, too. And didn't get nearly the hype, didn't get nearly the critical acclaim, but to me, Nope was... I'm a sucker for an alien movie, too, you know? So, yeah, Nope was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Substance. Substance was in my top 5 movies last year. It's getting a lot of award consideration. W. So, yeah, Alien Earth, looking forward to that. Toxic Avenger, looking forward to that. Substance, looking forward to hearing how we do at the Academy Awards. So... all right, let's go ahead and you want to recap what we did this week? Yeah,
so in between watching the Goosebumps series, we also have been rewatching some horror movies and watching some new ones.
Yeah. So yeah, to take it away, The Platform, I watched this originally when it first released, which was in 2020, around the pandemic.
Like January 2020, so right before like the rest of the world shut down.
So I think I must have saw it. I have very strong memories of watching this while the pandemic was like during the lockdown. So I must have missed
March,
it. Right
April.
I must have missed it right at the launch. But I watched this with my youngest son, who is like a huge horror fan. He's like I am. He loves all things horror. My older son, he's a little bit more niche. He picks like things that he likes. He's not big on like actually scary stuff, but he likes a lot of stuff. His tastes are growing. I'm really trying to hammer it to him. But my youngest, he'll watch anything horror. So we used to, that's kind of one of the ways we bond, is we watch this stuff. We watched The Platform when it first launched, and I loved it. And so this last weekend, he was here, and I'm like, what do we want to watch? I want to watch The Platform too. She hasn't seen the original Platform. So I was like, this is a perfect chance for me to revisit The Platform, and then we all watch Platform too. So right off the rip, The Platform, for me, held up big time. Like, it's still a fantastic movie. I still loved it. Let me get some of your thoughts on it, basically. You just watched it for the first time. So.
I liked it. It was one of the things. It's a horror movie that I've wanted to see, and I'd planned to watch it with some friends, and it just never happened. But all I knew going in is it's like a jail, and there's food, and then everybody gets to eat the food, and as you go down, there's less food. That was literally all I knew about this movie.
Right.
I didn't want to get it spoiled because I knew I was going to watch it eventually, and it was really good. I like that it kind of works that it was subtitled, because you really had to pay attention, which is definitely one of those films you want to pay attention to everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I think for us, it really helped that we watched this right before the second one. So there's a lot of carryover. Yeah.
So again, without spoilers, strong TLDR. It's basically like a social commentary on, like, to me, what my interpretation, I shouldn't say this, but my interpretation is social commentary on, like, on capitalism and the way that, like, the like wealth accumulates at the top, and then like the lower you go, the less you matter. And it's a really interesting way to have that conversation. Well, again, introducing very interesting characters, very interesting concepts. It's dark, it's funny, it's interesting. I liked the ending. I don't know. I just have a lot of only really good things to say about it.
It was overall good.
Just a great.
I don't really have a lot of.
I even think it might be great in my opinion, which of course I overrated.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. I would say like 7 or 8 out of 10.
And I was so excited to watch the sequel. I'd waited to see the sequel, and now we have to talk about the sequel.
Yeah,
the
so
Platform 2.
Obviously we didn't watch it when it came out, but it came out last year, October 2024. So. If you're gonna watch these and you have the time, definitely watch the first one first, like immediately first. Doug and I did it right, because there's a lot of like subtle callbacks that his youngest was like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
And we could explain it because we just watched. He's like, who is that?
Yeah, that's a good point to make.
What does this mean? And he's like, why is this important? We're like, well, actually.
It's such an interesting point. You're really great. That's just because, cause I wouldn't have thought of talking about that. But yeah, we watched it the day before, the day of.
No, we watched it that morning. Literally like a couple hours after. Before.
And so, but my son hadn't seen it since 2020. So he had to be like, wait, what? And like trying to get caught back up. He was 12 when he watched that for the first time. What a Chad, by the way. That was 4 years ago.
That's really cool.
He still remembered a lot. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, so again, like she said, we were able to just be like in the moment, like, oh, this is what happened in the first one, and like get him caught up. So highly recommend, if you've seen the platform, rewatch, because it's worth a rewatch. It's a very good film. If you haven't seen it, definitely need to watch it before you watch the platform too. But overall, my TLDR without spoilers is the characters are uninteresting. I had a very hard time investing in any of the new characters in the platform too. The twist felt like, oh, a twist just to be a twist. Like it didn't really feel like it served.
And it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like it served the story. It didn't feel like it served any purpose other than to be like, whoa. And then right out of the gate, all it does is kind of muddy things and make things more complicated. And like, and really, so the platform kind of, I think it really hit in that it was talking to you through the storytelling, through the film, but you're a little bit like, it wasn't anything direct. It was kind of like indirect, kind of nuanced, kind of metaphorical. But I think the platform too kind of feels like it's just, that's all it is. Like it doesn't really tell you anything. In my opinion, Platform 2 is a film that has way more questions than answers. The platform had more questions than answers in a good way. The Platform 2 has more questions than answers in a bad way. The twist is unnecessary. The characters are uninteresting. And the movie did never need to be made, in my opinion.
Wow.
That's my opinion.
It's pretty harsh.
Yeah, and that's what I said on the Letterboxd. It was the same thing I said. I was like,
I haven't rated it yet. I'm still sitting on these things.
I said, I'm not sure what the purpose was in even making the film. Like I think
they wanted to just follow up and make more money. But
I don't. See, that's the thing. That was my first thought too. Is like, is it just a cash grab? They're like, wow, this movie's popular. We could just churn out a second one, make some quick cash. But it just felt so. It kind of felt condescending. Not condescending. It was like not narcissistic, but it just felt like it was like
it was trying too hard to be artsy.
Yeah, it like wanted to be so deep and
condescending.
Like, it was a little condescending. It like talks down to you a little bit.
I still liked it. Like if you think about it without looking at the deeper layers of that, it's still a movie about the same concept as the first one, and that there's jail cells and food and less food as you go down. I still liked it.
Yeah.
But you have to look at it like no deeper than face value to enjoy it, which is how I was kind of electing it.
I guess if you watch it like without caring much, like, I don't know, it's fine. It's a fine movie. I didn't hate it. I felt robbed a little bit. I felt disappointed. And it's one of those things where like, I think they'll make a third one. And so maybe as a bridge film, it'll end up gaining a little bit. But I honestly think that the next one will even be worse or maybe even more on this. I don't know. We'll see. I think
it just depends on where they place it in order to.
Yeah.
Without alluding to too much.
I just don't know why they needed this. And then it was fine. It's fine. It's whatever.
I think it would have been fine being just a single movie.
Agreed. But I don't want to believe that it was a cash grab and then being like, well, it was so popular, we could easily make more money on this. It's hard to not feel that way a little bit, you know? But again, it was so artsy and then talked down to you so much that like, maybe they just like, think that it definitely felt like they substituted like metaphors. Like they substituted like for an actual story. They were like, it's like, I don't even know if they know what was going on, like, what the overarching
they don't even know
story is, right? I do think the first one was analogous to capitalism, and this one more touches on like the dangers of communism, socialism, and whatnot. But we'll see. Watch it, talk about it.
Tell us what you think in the comments.
We'd love to discuss it with you. And if we get enough back and forth discussion, maybe we even fire up a Discord. Maybe add a section of my stream Discord to just Slashily after conversations. That could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
We'll think on that. But the Platform 2 was, to me, the thumbs down.
What did you rate it on Letterboxd?
I think 2.
Really?
2.5 maybe?
I think I would have given it a 3.
Let me I almost dropped my phone. See, this is why we need a Natalie, bro. We need somebody who can be like, hey, can you...
Why Natalie?
Because that's the person on one of the podcasts I watch.
Oh.
Natalie is Dave Smith's guy.
Oh.
Dave Smith's girl.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, Natalie, can you look up?
You know, it'd be funny if we get somebody and like it's a dude or someone not named Natalie and we still call them Natalie.
I think that's a good idea. If you'd like to apply for the job of the podcast tech person,
we can't pay you anything.
Yeah, you have to go by Natalie and you don't get any money.
I'll put your name on screen.
How do I see my review? Okay. Can I like look at mine? I tell you what.
That was what you did. You gave it a 2.
I did, but I thought I wrote a review too. I did give it a 2 though. It's fine. We got the information we needed. Okay. Platform 2. Thumbs down.
I think thumbs neutral.
Thumbs neutral. That's
for
fine.
me.
That's fair. That's weird. Usually I'm nicer than you. This one's a classic. I know you're looking at the poster and you're like, blast from the past. So a little lore for me. I grew up, this was the first horror film that I ever loved. I don't know if it was the first one I watched, but it was definitely the first one I ever loved. My dad is very funny about movies. So he has like 6 total movies ever that he likes. Like, and he just rewatches those a million times. So when I was a kid, it would always be one of these 6 films that he would put on and we would watch it. It was like a family films, right? So Tremors, Princess Bride, Silverado, Christmas Vacation around the holidays. I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple. But long story short, this was in our constant rotation. And I love it. And so it was like the 35th anniversary of the film this week.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it.
January 19th, 1990.
Oh, so I mentioned it and she's like, I've never seen it. And I'm like, clear your schedule. We're watching Tremors. And the good news is the damn movie holds up so well. It's so good.
It's really good.
It's so good. Practical effects, 10 out of 10. Acting, 10 out of 10. Comedy, 10 out of 10. Horror, it does pretty good. It does some pretty good horror stuff. Watch this film. Absolutely. If you've never seen anything Tremors, please, please, please watch this. Watch the second one and watch the third one. And then you can go ahead and stop if you want. Or if you're like me and you love the jank, chaos, insane. If you love the ending of The Substance, you'll love the late Tremors films. I'll say that, right? But the early Tremors films are still very good films.
We've only watched the first together. But it was good. Another fun fact, though, you were like, this is like your first intro to horror. Stars Kevin Bacon. The first movie that I remember watching that was horror was Stir of Echoes, which also stars Kevin Bacon.
We were meant to be. It was meant to be.
Maybe Kevin Bacon should marry us.
I would love that.
That'd be really
But then
cool.
how will I marry you if I married a Kevin Bacon?
Like officiate the wedding.
What? Like there's going to be a score at the wedding? Like there's rules? What are we talking about? Yeah, Kevin Bacon, officiate.
It's very cool. I'm excited to see. You said 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, the first 3. So the first one, the second one are like, even the critic scores, because I went down a Tremors hole. Get it? Because the movie. I went down a hole and I was reading critic reviews of the Tremors, which got outstanding reviews. Tremors 2. Tremors 3 is where people were starting being like, I don't know, guys. And then it just goes completely off the rails, but in the best way.
So he's not in the rest of the movies, is he?
Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
No.
So I was reading, apparently, I think he must have just been having a tough time in his life. For a while, he hated the movie and thought it like was a smudge on his resume of films. And then like as he's gotten older, he's like wants to recreate like the vibe he had on set.
Good.
He has super fond memories of it now.
I love that you did that research because this is something I didn't know about. I knew that he didn't. So Kevin Bacon's character Valentine isn't in the second film, but Fred Ward's character is the main.
I wonder maybe if that's why he wasn't in it.
He mentions Val in the second film though. He like talks about it, so he's having issues. Like and basically like explains him away. But Burt Gummer, our mustache gun-toting fella, he's definitely in the follow-up films, and he sort of, without spoiling anything, he sort of takes over the mantle after the second film as like the main character moving on. Nice. And has been in like all 7 of them or something like that.
Really?
So, yeah.
Is Reba in all of them?
No.
Oh no.
No, of course not. Reba's one and done with Kevin Bacon. The actual the stars of this film moved on to bigger and better things. And then Fred Ward, who plays, I don't know. My particular brand of neurodivergence, I can remember the actor's name, but I don't remember the character's name in the film.
That's so funny.
Fred Ward plays.
I thought it was Bert.
No, Bert is the
other guy?
Is the gun guy.
Earl.
So Earl is the main character in the second film, and then they kind of go off from there. So W. Tremors, odds are you've seen it. It's a very iconic film, but if you haven't, rush to see it. Watch all of them. Tell me about it in the comments. Again, I love talking Tremors. You can tell I light right up when I think about this movie. So, all right. Next up, we watched
Werewolf Game.
Oh.
So it turns out we think this is actually Tony Todd's final movie. We said before that it was streamed, but this one is the last one he's credited with on IMDb currently. Came out January 21st, 2025, and it is currently $4.99 on Prime.
Now, this is not the Monster Beneath Us levels of bad in terms of like unwatchably bad. We did enjoy our time with it, but we did not enjoy that time with it due to any quality of film. I'll give you a breakdown. This to me.
So the movie's like Town of Salem.
Yeah, if you've ever played the game Town of Salem, it's a social deduction game where you have villagers, you have members of the mafia, and then you have like a werewolf or a vampire or a serial killer. It's like it randomizes what you end up with, but it's a social deduction game where you try to figure out who's the bad guys here. Every single day you have to choose somebody that you hang. You try to hang the bad guys and survive while they try to kill off the villagers, right? So this film is the same breakdown. There's werewolves and there's villagers, and they capture these people, random people, no patterns. They bring them to this island and they say, 3 of you are werewolves, the rest of you are villagers. The goal is to survive the game. If you're the werewolf, you have to kill off the villagers. If you're the humans, you have to figure out who the werewolves are. So
there's also other people from the other characters from like the Town of Salem that are in there, but I don't know how they somehow get in there. Like Doug fell asleep when we were watching The Monster Beneath Us,
yes.
And I fell asleep watching Werewolf Game.
Yeah, so it was very easy.
I don't remember everything.
It was very easy to fall asleep. I started falling asleep. I never did fall asleep, thankfully, because Tony Todd the GOAT. But I'll just read you my Letterboxd review, and it'll give you all the thoughts you need. Great concept. Execution was abysmal. Tony Todd acted his tail off trying to save this one, but wasn't enough. Silly watch, but bad. So that's my whole thoughts. Like Tony Todd, he shows up, he puts his all into it like he did every single role he ever did. You know, we love Tony Todd in this house, but his individual performance could not save the rest of it. And the concept, like if you took this concept in Tony Todd and gave it to a team with good writers and money for production, the audio in this film was some of the worst audio.
The Foley artists, it was like a teenager for their first job. There's a scene where one of the chicks is eating a sandwich, and it's like there's eggshells in the sandwich. Like
so crunchy.
Why is that sandwich crunchy?
It overpowers the dialogue. Like you can't hear the dialogue because of the crunching. There's a makeout scene where like so obviously somebody was like,
and it's not like it doesn't match the pictures. It doesn't sync up
at all, and you're just like, it's so loud and abrasive, and
it's so bad.
Werewolf Game was awful, but it was fun. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah,
My
it was
kid,
so fun.
I don't know if he'll ever forgive us for the 90 minutes.
So here's the thing. We showed him a list of the movies we wanted to watch, and he narrowed it down to 2. Werewolf Game and another movie that we haven't watched yet. We'll talk about later when we do watch it. So it's half his fault.
Yeah. I took credit for the pick. I did choose
You picked it ultimately because it's Tony Todd.
You know me, I love to jump on grenades. It was my fault. But again, I'm glad I saw it. This is why I'll say Werewolf Game is better than The Monster Beneath Us. I'm not glad I saw The Monster Beneath Us. I'm not.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't. Werewolf Game, I'm glad I watched it. And knowing what I know now, knowing how I feel now, I would watch it for the first time again. I would not watch it for a second time again. But I would watch it for a first time again, if that makes sense. So, Werewolf Game's an L. Tony Todd's a W. Glad I saw it.
I do like the random, no spoilers, but Tony Todd does a woo.
That is a good
as a werewolf.
W scene. All right. Finally, last night's film,
Boneface.
Welcome to Boneface. So Boneface is basically a new take on an old genre. Campfire serial killer, campfire slasher, summer camp slasher.
Camp Clear Lake.
Yeah, Camp Clear Lake was one of the camps. Yeah. So TLDR, long story short, Boneface is a new camp counselor slayer, Jason type. Mm-hmm. Your cold open is at the camp with the slaughter that happens, but the formula is different. Instead of it being an actual traditional slasher, it's more of like a mystery movie.
Yeah.
More of a mystery film. Like, so the police officers, they come on the scene, they find the slaughter happen. They very close to the camp is a diner. They get in the diner. They get the impression that the killer is probably in this diner, and then it turns into like deduction of who in the diner was Boneface. So that's basically like the meat of the film. It's like 80% of the movie is that. I love Boneface. Like I love the concept of Boneface. It's a cool killer. The opening scene was great. It's definitely a low budget slasher. So it's got all the what's the cuteness of it. It's like it's very fun. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad acting, but like it's
not as bad as Werewolf.
Not as bad as Werewolf Games. The acting was better. The production value was better.
The Foley artists were better.
So it's a much higher quality film than Werewolf Game. Very silly. Takes itself a little seriously, but you can tell it kind of doesn't.
Yeah,
so it doesn't.
In a good way.
But my only complaint is it gets kind of boring. The middle act is kind of drags, and you're like, once you realize
a lot of talking.
Yeah.
And exposition.
And the problem with the talking and exposition is that it's not all that original and it's not all that interesting. It's mostly, again, it's like cliche tropes of each character, and father and daughter, the divorcee, the rich divorcee, the biker dudes, the construction worker with the temper problem. Like, it's just a lot of that stuff. But it is fun. It was fun. And I thought the ending was good. I thought that the final act was incredible. It was really good because, again, the intro is camp slasher. Then there's like the meat of the film is like social deduction. It's almost like horror Clue. And then the final act leaves that and goes back into kind of like classic slasher. Like once they figure it out, then they have the classic showdown instead. Mm-hmm. Overall, I enjoyed it a lot. I'm really glad we watched it. This is like Werewolf Game. I'm glad I saw it because it was Tony Todd. This film, really, the only actor or actress that was recognizable was you recognized the one lady.
The rich divorcee that was in there is Leonardo DiCaprio's sister, Calvin Candy's sister in Django.
Django Unchained, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, that's his sister. That's literally the only person in this film that I recognized.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody from this film has a bright future in acting. I don't think it's like gonna propel anyone's careers, but it's fun. I enjoyed it. Of the bad films we've seen, the low budget films we've seen, this is easily, in my opinion, the best.
Yeah.
It goes Boneface and then Werewolf Games and then Monster Beneath Us.
It was a nice reprieve after watching Werewolf Games.
Yeah. Well, and then when we first watched, we started, it was like, oh, not again. Like, it was really, you could tell it was low budget. You could tell it was kind of jank. But then after the opening act, it was like the first 10 minutes, we were like, okay, I'm in. Better. They got me in. Yeah. So, overall, I thought it was a lot of fun. It's $4.99 on Amazon Prime in the US right now. Mm-hmm. I'd recommend it. If you love slashers and you like a little camp and cheese, this is a fun one.
If you liked Hatchet.
Yeah. This is
Hatchet.
Definitely.
It's better than Hatchet.
I don't agree, but I respect your opinion.
Really?
Yeah, we'll have that discussion
again. I hated Hatchet.
I know you did. But this one, I feel like I'd be shocked if it wasn't inspired in part by Hatchet.
Like equal parts Hatchet and Friday the 13th. Yeah. If they had a baby, it would be Boneface.
And then also Clue, the movie Clue.
Yeah.
Clue's kind of chunked in the middle.
So yeah.
That's a weird thought. Those three hooking out. Anyway. All right, so that was our week in horror.
Yeah.
We're really excited. So we got a couple theater movies this week. We got to see Wolfman. And we got to see Presents, which everyone is buzzing about. I really wish we would have gotten it done this weekend.
Oh, and then I guess technically, what day is the 31st?
5 days from now. So.
Okay, so there's a lot. There's also Companion that comes out too.
Okay. So we got a lot to talk about next week. We'll probably continue to chunk through. We're trying to, if you guys haven't picked up on it, we're trying to watch everything that comes out in 2025. We're a little behind, but we don't have that much to catch up on.
It's just hard because we're also fitting in, almost said Ghostbusters. Goosebumps.
Yeah, Goosebumps is something that we've kind of wanted to do.
But it's so good. It's so fun.
It is. And
you should watch it.
Yeah, we're really... Like that was worth Disney Plus alone. Plus, there's like other stuff on Disney Plus, but we had to pick up Disney Plus intentionally to watch Goosebumps, and like we haven't been disappointed. Thing is, the two of us live and breathe horror. It's my full-time job. It's her part-time job now with the podcast, and so we have no problem with just like basically jam-packing our lives with this stuff. So it's pretty fun. So this week, the priority is going to be to see the theater movies and do an episode on those next week. And we're going to continue, but we'll continue to knock things off the January list. So we'll probably do a January roundup first week of February. So your next episode, look forward to seeing us talk about minimum Wolfman and Presents. And then we'll probably try and sneak in Companion as well. So, and then after that, we'll get back to talking about January's hits because we're gonna go insane if we don't sneak some big budget movies in here.
So
we're just watching the low.
I have made a list of all the movies coming out in each month, and so thus far February seems pretty light.
Cool.
Even with straight to internet movies, so
Right.
I think we'll be able to catch up on everything.
That's good because that catches us up on January and lets us talk about Goosebumps, possibly Squid Games 2. Squid Game 2, right?
Squid Game 2.
Squid Game 2. And then, we can put some odds and ends. Because the thing is, I hope you guys, and we'd love to hear more about it in the comments. We love constructive criticism. We love ideas and thoughts. We think we'll just kind of continue to sneak in these, like Tremors was a movie that I made her watch because she'd never seen it before. We want to talk about it with you guys. We want to give you guys an opportunity to talk to us about stuff and give us ideas. So again, actually, I'm going to go ahead and go on record and say I will absolutely start a channel in my Discord this week for Slashily Ever After discussion. So that way, if you guys, I'll put a link to the Discord in the episode description. If you guys want to join my Discord, the Discord is the community for my Twitch stream, but I mean, all are welcome and all horror nuts are welcome. So we'll talk more about whatever you want to talk about in the coming weeks. But for right now, obviously, comments are great. That helps us out on the YouTube.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. All right. Well,
and turn on notifications.
Turn them on. Make sure the bell, bing. So that's our week. Thank you guys for joining us. No one's told you they love you today. We love you. And
they live Slashily Ever After. Wait, there we go.
I love you.